Oh man, does it feel good to be making another video. It's been a while. I know it's only been a week, but it's been a long week for me. So we're here doing kind of a silly video. Who's a bigger letdown? Who's a bigger disappointment? However you want to phrase this. Darth Maul or the Night King? I know they're kind of the same person, just one's blue, one's red, but let's get into this silly comparison. So on one hand, we have Darth Maul, the cool, badass Sith Lord apprentice in the Phantom Menace that came out in 1999, and he was all the rage. He's gonna be the cool, bad Sith Lord dude. He's this, he's that. Oh man, look how cool he is. He has a double-bladed lightsaber. Look at this dude. Well, he still gets chopped in half, and he's on screen for, I don't know, a total of 10 minutes in a 2-hour movie, 2.5-hour movie, and he says, what, 6 words? That's it. That's really it. I mean, Darth Maul is a cool character in theory. I know he lived on in Star Wars canon through the comics and the TV shows and whatnot, but really, I know hardcore Star Wars fans watch all that stuff, but to me, Star Wars is really just the movies. I know I may sound like not a hardcore fan saying that, but that's what gets me going somewhere. That's something that gets me excited to Star Wars movies, not shows, not animated shows. I mean, they're cool, but they're kind of whatever. So I really count Darth Maul dying pretty much in the Phantom Menace. I know Obi-Wan killed him later on in Rebels and whatever, but he was only in one movie, and he was in the movie for a total of 10 minutes. He was cut in half and said 6 words. So pretty lame after he was hyped up to be this big, badass, awesome Sith Lord apprentice guy. All right, so pretty lame. Darth Maul is pretty lame overall. Now, I still think he looks awesome. One of the coolest characters in all of Star Wars, the double-bladed lightsaber. Love all that. I love how it was different at the time. We really haven't seen a double-bladed lightsaber since then. Maybe in the shows and stuff, but I don't really watch them. At least in the movies, we haven't really seen that. Still really cool. I hope we actually see that with Rey, but we're not going to. But they kind of missed a toy sale on that one, but that's a discussion for another day. But overall, Darth Maul looks cool, should be cool, but he's kind of lame. He's kind of lame. We all can admit it. It's been 20 years. We can all admit that Darth Maul was a missed opportunity, and he was kind of lame. So let's move on to the Night King. Game of Thrones, possibly the biggest show in the history of television, right? I think we all can agree there. It's one of the biggest. I don't know how we can ever classify the biggest, but this has been one of the biggest shows ever. I'd say it's as big as The Sopranos, like the cultural phenomenon of the show. It's definitely an equivalent. Now, you may disagree or agree that other shows are more popular or unpopular or whatever, but it's in the top 10, 15 of the most popular shows kind of ever over the last 30 years. I think we all can agree on that one. So the Night King is supposed to be this big bad, the bringer of death. He doesn't say anything. He has these piercing blue eyes. It's like how Darth Maul has those piercing Sith yellow eyes. He just eye screws you when he looks at the camera, just staring at Jon or whoever. He's just like, I'm this big bad dude, and I just raise the dead. I have these White Walkers and these Whites with me, and I can just pretty much destroy everything. You know, I'm just one badass mofo. And we get through everything. He kills a bunch of people, about to kill another person, and he's killed by Arya flying from 100 feet behind him, catches her, she drops the knife, and then stabs him in the heart. The end, Night King. That's it. The end. Now, I don't hate that Arya killed him. I want to get in this again. I don't mind that Arya killed the Night King. Not at all. I don't mind at all. I actually like it. I just wish he would have fought Jon a little bit. Just a tiny bit, because that was set up for so much of the show, and I just don't like how Arya killed him. How she flew out of nowhere. I just don't like that. It just, no. I get it's a fictional show with dragons, but the show has been very much set in quote-unquote realism. It's a very grounded show other than the dragons and whatnot. So just kind of how Arya comes out of nowhere is just kind of silly to me, and I just didn't like it. But this dude has been hyped up as the big bad, the bringer of death for all these seasons, okay? And then finally, we can maybe finally have a final battle between him and Jon. The Night King just turns around and is just like, nah, I ain't fighting with my cool-ass ice sword. I'm not going to pull it off my back. Jon, here, you fight these dudes. I'm just going to keep walking. Which was kind of cool, if Jon got to fight him later on, but didn't happen. It didn't happen. And you know, what a wasted opportunity, because it all gets set in Hardhome, and that was a freaking awesome episode. I believe that was season 5. My Game of Thrones seasons may be a little off. I apologize. So I may be off just a tad, and I apologize. I don't know Game of Thrones as well as like The Walking Dead or Star Wars, so I'm just a little bit rockier there. I believe it's season 5, the episode Hardhome. Great freaking episode. Possibly one of the best Game of Thrones episodes. I love it. Got Jon Snow saving the wildlings and all that, and then the Night King comes and just brings death. All the whites and White Walkers and the fights and everything, everyone kind of just barely escapes. And it's that stare off between Jon and the Night King. And it's just such a FU moment between both of them. And it's awesome. So then after that, you're like, this dude means freaking business. Like, this dude is pretty legit. And then we really get nothing out of it. And then the next couple seasons, he's just marching south. And then we don't really get much out of it. Yeah, he kills one of Daenerys' dragons. He melts the wall. And he kills Theon, and that's about all the important stuff he kind of does. So, I'd call that as lame as Darth Maul. He's supposed to be this cool, badass dude. Hey, you know what? At least Darth Maul used his lightsaber. The Night King didn't even pull that cool ice sword off his back at any moment, at any time in the Battle of Winterfell. I don't think he ever did it in any other part of the show either. So what a wasted opportunity. How cool would that have been if Jon pulls out Longclaw and he goes to fight the Night King, and it just hits perfectly, like they both clink. It's this ice sword. I mean, come on. How is that not cool? Or his sword is so powerful that it breaks Longclaw, a Valyrian steel sword. That would have been freaking sad and cool. I'm like, oh my gosh, Jon is gonna die. That's when you have Arya come out of nowhere or fall from the tree or just kind of come up from behind someone and kill the Night King. That sounds way cooler than what happened, but I digress. So Darth Maul has him beat there. At least he uses his cool weapon. Darth Maul does. The Night King does not. But overall, both of them don't say much or anything at all in the Night King's case. And they're kind of just pawns in a game, and they're kind of just thrown aside. And it's kind of unfortunate for how cool and as badass as these characters really could be in both of Star Wars and Game of Thrones, but they're just thrown aside, and they're just such wasted opportunities and wasted characters, in my opinion. It's just sad. But with all the Game of Thrones issues going on this season, I thought of this the other day when I was making my Phantom Menace video, and I was like, you know what? Who's the bigger disappointment? Who's the bigger letdown? The Night King or Darth Maul? Because they're both, I guess, very similar characters. They kind of look the same. They kind of don't say much, like I said. And they were both very hyped, even 20 years ago, even today with the Night King. And kind of, they were both very meh. Both of them floundered out very quick. So I was trying to think, you know, who's the bigger letdown? So, you know, overall, I think the bigger letdown is the Night King over Darth Maul, because at the very least, at least Darth Maul had a really cool fight scene with Obi-Wan and Qui-Gon, where the Night King didn't do anything. All he really did that was like, oh snap, was kill one of Daenerys' dragons. That was it. That's all he did. Now, Raising the Dead was cool the first time you saw it, and you're like, oh boy, that's weird. But by the third or fourth time, you're just kind of, yeah, okay, we get you can do that. Very cool. Awesome. 2 thumbs up. Way to go, guy. So I got to give Darth Maul the edge here. He's cooler. So I'm going to say the Night King. He's cooler, but the Night King, he's ice. I got to say the Night King is the bigger letdown for me personally, because at least Darth Maul, he wasn't a very developed character. I know that in the movies, but at least he had a very cool, badass fight scene, and he got chopped in half. Like, it was fine enough. Like, it was still cool, even though his end came too early, in my opinion. At least in the movies. I know he lived on and then died later, but at least he had those big moments, or that big moment. You know, he had a good 5-minute fight scene with 2 badass Jedi, where the Night King really didn't do much. Like I said, he just kind of showed up, killed some people, got killed. That's about it. He didn't do much. Didn't even fight. He just raises the dead, and that's it. I don't know what else to say. So let me know your opinions down below in the comments. Who is the bigger letdown? Darth Maul or the Night King? I picked the Night King because all the things I just stated. I don't want to state them again, and I don't think you want to hear me state them again. So the Night King is the bigger letdown, the bigger disappointment to me. So let me know down below what are your thoughts, and while you're down there, if you can like the video and subscribe to the channel, that would be greatly appreciated. Well, until next time, guys, everyone have a great day.